Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dominate Fishing. I'm Dan Meyer, and in today's video we're going to be talking about 5 crappie lures that have been working for me really well to get these midwinter crappies to bite. You know, when we get to midwinter, the crappie bite, it can get tough. There are still days, there are still lakes where you can find lakes where the fish are really aggressive, but on a lot of lakes, especially high pressured lakes, the crappie bite can get pretty tough at times during the midwinter, or even using live bait can, it can be hard to get strikes. But a lot of times when the crappies won't even take a minnow, you can still get them to take some of these plastics. And because one thing you got to keep in mind is during the winter, when you get to midwinter, it's getting pretty dark, especially down in the deep water. We're really talking about deep water fishing here. If you're finding crappies in the weeds someplace still, when crappies are up in the weeds, there's a good chance they're feeding on minnows. So those fish, they're going to be a little more aggressive. They're going to take some bigger baits. But a lot of especially the further north you get, we've got quite a bit of snow and ice now, especially snow. It's pretty dark down there. A lot of the weeds are dying, and a lot of those crappies now are pushing into deeper water. When you get into that situation, the crappies out in that deep water, a lot of them are feeding on zooplankton, and you'll know if the fish are feeding on those if you catch one and they spit up some brown sludge on your hand. Then you know they're out there and they're feeding on that plankton, and a lot of times those fish, they can be hard to get to bite. These plastics are the plastics that I've been using, and I've been able to get some pretty consistent bites, being able to get most of the crappies to hit. So let's just start with the first bait here, and the first bait is some power bait. It's got some nice scent to it. This is the power bait Whipworm. I've been using the red. I like the red. It's the same color as bloodworms. That's one thing the fish feed on. You can really tell if you're fishing early morning or if you're fishing the evening. You'll be fishing a spot, you'll have nothing on your locator. When that sun starts to go down, all of a sudden you'll be marking all kinds of interference. That's when a lot of the bloodworms and a lot of the these invertebrates really get active. All of a sudden you'll start marking a whole bunch of them on your screen, and that's what crappies, or one of the things the crappies can be feeding on out in the deep water. So a red sometimes works really well. Another lure that I've been using that I like is these 1-3 Fishing Vamps. Here it is, and incidentally I've been using the Ultra Glow. It just helps them see it down there. But here it is in the bubble gum. It looks like this. It's got a big insect body with a long tail. I like lures with the long tails. I talk about it a lot, just so when you're just jigging that in place, you have something that's whipping around, triggers strikes. So here it is in the bubble gum, and here it is in the purple rain. Same lure, just different colors. Along with the 1-3 fishing lures, another lure that I like is this paralyzer. Very similar to the Vamp, but not quite the same. This one's got a few little legs on it, and they're a little looser, so they do a little bit more flailing around. But that's a little bit actually bigger profile bait. Let me just show you these again. These are still small baits, but compared to the ones I've been showing you, they're a little bit bigger profile for when those fish are a little bit more aggressive. Now, a lot of times when the fish are negative, they're hard to get to bite. A really small bait can do the trick. That's when I like to go to this J&S. This is a Versamite. Here's the chartreuse one. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. It's got kind of a double body with 3 really long little pieces of tail, but it's still a pretty small profile bait. Here it is in the package. Here's one outside of the package. You can see that the whole back whipsaws, the tail really whipsaws. That's the kind of action that gets these finicky winter crappies to bite. So this is another lure that I like. Here I've got it in this one is the chartreuse, and here I've got the same bait but in black, and just different colors because on any given day you don't know exactly what color the fish are going to be going for. So here's chartreuse, here's black, and then a third bait, or the fifth bait, the final bait that I really like is because this bait is really small. It's by Little Atom, and it's the wedgie, and it's a scented formula. Here it is in pink, and here it is in red. And basically, I'll show you what this is. All this is it's a really long, thin, very small profile piece of plastic. And I'll hook this on a 1/32 ounce jig, or you could go smaller. You could do a 64th. I like 30. When I'm crappie fishing, I usually don't go smaller than a 32nd. Every once in a while, you could go down to a 64th. So here's what it looks like. It's just this little chunk of plastic that's just a really long, really thin. So when those crappies, they don't want to eat a big meal, hit them with this, and you can usually trigger that strike. Because midwinter crappies, you just don't know. Some days they're really aggressive. They see that bait, they come shooting up and they take it. And some days, like yesterday when I was out, those fish, they'd shoot up, you'd think for sure you got it, they'd stare at it and they'd drop back down. When I see that happening, I'm either changing my color or changing the lure if that happens more than a couple times, because for whatever reason that day the fish didn't like that bait. And that can happen midwinter. When you get to late ice or early ice, a lot of times you just get that bait down there, work it a little, and they come up and crush it. Not always the case midwinter. You can get kind of a tough bite. So these are the lures that I like to go to that work the best for me, and I've been doing a lot of crappie fishing lately, and those are the ones that I'm getting the bites on. So I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.